Your boss says your MBA could be worthless because you just don't look the part. A long hot bath soothes wrinkles. 28 tropical typhoons hit Asia every year, and it so happened that 20 of them hit your country of birth every time. And every time there's a typhoon, about 2 to 3 feet of water enter your house. Well, at least the second floor toilet still works. Your bank account is low, and it seems like you won't be able to make payroll. You take a breath. You still have a full tank of gas to make that 2-hour drive home with a functioning AC. The love of your life exchanges you for a wealthier woman. Now you can live the journey of the life you love. The next love of your life gave you STD. At this moment, the preciousness of your own self-worth reveals itself. A $75 parking ticket on an empty street in a residential neighborhood. The city needs my money to keep us safe and to keep our kids in school. You know where I'm going with this, right? At one point in your life, Murphy's Law wreaked havoc. Do you remember what you told yourself? Hi, I'm Jackie of McCarthy Building Companies, here to remind you that when you are faced with trauma, tragedy, or serious stress, know that you are not alone. Know that we all have the capacity to bounce back and adapt to a new normal. Some may rebound faster than others. That adaptability is called resilience. Resilience is not a trait that either individuals have or do not have. Resilience involves behaviors, thoughts, and accompanying feelings that can be nurtured, developed, and learned. The holidays of 2019 was a blue Christmas for me. My uncle passed away. I was closing my business of 7 years, and there's this little known threat called Corona. Let me paint you a picture. My then business partner decided he wanted to exit the business in the next 2 to 3 months. After 7 years of growing pains and anguish, we had amicably agreed to close the business, and I now had to deploy our exit strategy. I realized I'm in my 40s. I have a malnourished retirement account, and I can't even send financial sustenance regularly to my aging parents back home. The negative thoughts were all spiraling out of control, and I had to ask the tough question: is this what failure looks like? Well, I threw myself a pity party. Among others, I binge scrolled on Facebook and Pinterest so I could feed the hunger of getting my mojo back. I may have overeaten and have taken a little more of that red wine, but after a while I got tired. Nothing came good out of that self-loathing. Then I got news that my uncle lost his short battle of fighting pancreatic cancer. It was my wake-up call. You see, he rather seemed prepared for the worst-case scenario. He had a health insurance that covered hospital bills, including palliative care. He had his living will and his last will in place, and the house was fully paid. I obviously realized that, shizy, I don't have these things in place. What if something happens to me tomorrow? My family will be victims of my ineptitude if I don't snap out of this misery. Believe me, I was teetering on the lines of grief and depression. Somehow, hope crept in. I have always been a firm believer that if you put a thought out there, good or bad, the universe will connive to make it happen. One day, I was doing 4th grade math with my boy Kobe, and I handed him an eraser because he made a mistake. As if by serendipity, he blurted out, "Mistakes are signs that I'm learning. Right, Mom?" That flipped a switch in me. It was enough for me to put a good thought out there. Then, a few days later, I got an invite to meet up from Sofia Cavalli. I first met her acquaintance at the Women in Construction Owners and Executives, as well as events from the National Association of Women in Construction in Los Angeles. What started out as a business development meeting ended up as a neuroscience session. You might even remember her from her workshop at last year's Women in Construction USA at San Francisco, California. She taught me brain hacks that helped me focus on the good. That helped me carefully select where my attention goes and to change how I talk to myself. Like she said, it's all about finding the good. A huge part of my good is my husband. He has supported my dreams of owning my business for the past 7 years with complete faith that I will do better than most small business owners we knew. If you know a business owner and how high-strung they can be, can you imagine being married to one? It wasn't easy for him because I wasn't easy. I happened to pick challenging jobs and cherry-pick even more challenging clients. I couldn't let my angel go through more years of agitation just because a GC took 120 days for them to pay us after we completed the job. The bills came monthly. So much insecurities at that point. The business was closing, I had a questionable health of retirement fund, and I can't always have a steady flow of income. I finally made peace with the decision of dissolving the business and getting a job. It will be a new normal for us, but it will serve the best interests of my family. I gradually put the feelers out there in my immediate circle of trust, and I told them that I will be closing shop and I will hit the job market soon. I thought the news is gonna get to them anyway, and I thought it better that it came from me. But can you imagine telling your story of struggle and failure over and over again? My friends from the National Association of Minority Contractors, who are small minority business owners, convinced me to keep the business because I have gone such a long way and that this too shall pass. Oh, bless their heart. I did give it a thought. And although I can continue on the path of business ownership, it will be a tougher and lonelier journey for me. My mind was set, a decision was made, and I decided to redirect my focus on building up that retirement fund and doing what's best for my family. I'm not gonna lie, the self-doubt came back more than once, as if to test the resilience of my own decision. Then the negative self-talk told me that I was a failure, an imposter, a wannabe. I was afraid that others would hear it too. To my relief, my inner circle of peers responded with, "Quick, give me your resume." The first ones who offered help were my friends at NAWIC Los Angeles. Friends like Ileana, Priscilla, Barbara, and Robin. Whether it was LinkedIn recommendation, critiquing my resume, coaching for a job interview, because I haven't had a job interview in 17 years. And of course, the opportunity for a job interview. And eventually negotiating that salary. Even the text that says, "Hey, I'm here for you," that really helped a lot. And Shiloh was really good at that. This is where I reap the harvest of planting those good intention seeds many years ago. You really need to nurture those relationships, because you will find those who will open the door for you and keep those doors open for you and other women in the construction industry. In my job interview with McCarthy, we talked about the importance of the diversity of experience and how my small business journey afforded me that opportunity. In the end, Eric Chesmore asked if I had any more questions. And without a bat of an eyelash, I asked, "How do you deal with failure?" He thought. It took him a while to respond, maybe a good 15 seconds. But it was enough time for negative self-talk to chat back and mock me and say, "Really? You want to know about failure than company perks?" Well, he eventually answered, and he responded with compassion. What followed after was a blur, because I realized that if a project executive can afford compassion, surely I can afford compassion for myself. It was the closure I needed. Enough about me. I asked some of the women in construction in California about their resilience journey, and they have a lot to say. Let's have a look.
Hello, I am Ana Cani Torres, President of Final Cleaning Solutions Incorporated. The constant challenge I face in my current career is the fact that I have two careers. I am a full-time elementary school teacher for students with special needs and a business owner. I am now juggling distance learning and all the challenges that come with that. Learning how to teach remotely, technology failures, and engaging the students via a monitor, all while managing my business. My team and I take it one day at a time. We are all learning and improving at our individual roles. My team is very accommodating of my crazy schedule. To me, the most amazing thing is that even with all the limitations and challenges, we are thriving.
Hello, I'm Barbara Kotsis. I work in Los Angeles for a glazing company called Giroux Glass. I'm also the incoming president of the Los Angeles chapter of NAWIC. I think I have a pretty good example of a time when I had to deal with resilience and an obstacle in my life, in my career. I had been working for the same consumer products technology company for 14 years when I was shocked one day to learn my job was to exist no more. Went home, I was shocked, didn't know what to do, and was pretty blown away. I turned that time into a year to really think about what I wanted to do next. I hadn't loved that job, but it paid well, it was convenient, short commute, which means a lot in LA, and I decided, well, let me really think about what I want to do next. I spent the year traveling and decided I would now be open to whatever opportunities presented themselves to me, not to have a closed mind. And I went on what I thought would be a practice interview at the company where I am today, fell in love with the people that I met that day, a whole lot of women who work in that company, and the company is run by a lot of women. And I loved everybody I met that day. I walked up and down the halls, I saw the projects they'd worked on, and I thought, wow, construction. This is a completely different way of thinking as a marketing person. In technology, your products are outdated the minute they hit the store shelves. In construction, you can keep bragging about the beautiful buildings you've worked on for decades. In my company's case, for 75 years. So this was a whole different way of thinking, and if I hadn't been handed that blow, I probably never would have come to that realization. Now I'm in construction, it's been 7 years, and I absolutely love it. And being handed something unexpected was really the best thing that happened to my career. So take it and run with it if something like that should happen to you.
My journey in this industry has been easy. A cakewalk, no challenges. It's so easy, I recommend it for everyone. I'm kidding. The truth is, I've had many moments where I failed, many moments where I've been humbled in front of people, moments where I've had to adapt to changes, I've had to learn new systems, and to be honest, I hated those moments because who likes change? Who likes to fail? But when I look back in those moments in my journey, I look at them fondly and I appreciate them, because if it wasn't for those moments where I've had to adapt to change, or I've had to have a growth mindset, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I think it's so important to connect with, another group of people who are going to be positive, who are going to pour onto you and help you grow as a professional. And I hope that as you're going through a tough time today, remember, it's not forever. And one day you're going to look back and you're going to appreciate that very moment you're living today.
Hi, my name is Michael Dory, and in thinking about some of the challenges that I've faced in the construction industry, I think it's sometimes hard to be in an environment where you're the only woman, and in particular the only woman of color. One of the things that I've always tried to do is to extend an olive branch and find commonality with someone that I work with. So in finding that common ground, hopefully we can build relationships and build strong working bonds.
And I am the president of Coleman Construction. We are a general building and engineering firm that's signatory to the Laborers and Carpenters Union. I am also the president of the National Association of Minority Contractors here in Southern California, and we call it NAMAC. The biggest thing that I have found that to be a problem over the last 25 years is negative perception. Somebody is always thinking that you can't do something. And it's up to you to go out each and every day to prove that you can do it. The whole reason why you are in business or in your field is to prove that you can be the best person you can be. So continue.
The biggest challenge I've had in my career is feeling like I had a voice, feeling like I had a seat at the table. I'm in an industry that was predominantly male. I'd be the only woman in the room, and also the youngest usually in the room. And so being able to feel comfortable speaking my mind and having an opinion was really, really challenging. I've made it my sole mission to hone all my skills, to push my comfort zones, to, emulate and be the person that I want to be and not be afraid to speak up. Joining groups like NAWIC has offered support, role models, mentors, taking classes or engaging in any activity that allows me to hone those skills has proved to be very successful for me. I feel strongly that knowledge is power.
Hi, my name is Ethel Rubio. I am a construction project management and strategic engagement development consultant. To start with, I lost my passion. You see, I started out with a stellar formative career in architecture, from being a student intern to working on a $400 million project for a nationwide architecture and engineering firm. I was drawn to the marketing and management side of the profession, but I did not see that I had any opportunity available to me as a woman and a minority at that time, where the big boys are the key players. Even my women architect mentors were struggling. I had to make a very difficult decision to stay in the profession and starve, or switch careers from the built environment to survive and find my true passion. In all the things that I did in my other careers, I find myself reaching the top only to find out that there was something missing. You name it, I've done it. More than 3 years ago, after an unforeseen elimination of my position from my last employment, which brought me back to the built environment that is still dominated by men, I realized that I have been building my professional network all throughout my career changes, and that was extremely helpful. For me, it is very fulfilling that I have finally found my place in the sun. With my consulting work, I can have an impact in the built environment and make a difference in others, especially to women.
Hello, my name is Yolanda Baber. I am the owner and partner at Quality Firm. So I think as a whole, women always challenge with having to deal with making sure that they're getting equal pay for the same services that their counterparts are offering. So I realized early in the game that in order for me to be able to add value and make sure that I'm getting paid what the equitable amount is that I needed to really get comfortable with really showcasing and writing down all the things that I was doing. So whenever I needed to go back into negotiations, I would be able to get exactly what my counterparts was doing. So I think the biggest challenge was just coming into the meeting with confidence and being able to share the added value that I brought to the table. And that made all the difference in how my pay increases transpired.
Hello, my name is Ileana Holguin. One challenge that I encountered earlier in my construction career was being passed up for a promotion, not understanding why if I was doing a great job and taking on more on the project. So I learned that I needed to be more vocal about my career aspirations, and I started to advocate for myself. Preparing a plan and sharing the plan with my manager was very important, as well as other leadership within my firm. Also, by making myself more visible and getting involved within your company, as well as in outside organizations that can lend you the support and provide you with the exposure necessary to show those contributions.
Hi, my name is Omine Livingston. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of O2 Engineering Projects and Construction Management. Resilience, what does that mean to me? Well, being an entrepreneur and the kind of person that I am, I do welcome challenges, and I do see this COVID-19 as a challenge, and usually challenges do make me better. So being a resilient person helps in ensuring that I'm flexible whenever the challenges do come. So I welcome it. Why? Because it makes me stronger, and I know it makes you stronger business owners. I know that despite what we're going through with this COVID-19, we will overcome. And
when you consume articles on resilience, whether it's a book, a case study, a podcast, or a TED Talk, they all point to the following 3 pick-me-uppers in your darkest moments. First, failure or suffering is a part of life. It's not easy. Certainly, it wasn't easy for me. But it is what it is. That's your life now. Now that you have gotten that fact out of the way, the next thing to do is to accept it. It's sink or swim, really. It may not seem like that at the moment, but failure promotes resilience and trust that it will enrich your life. Number 2, beware of the stories you tell yourself and carefully select where your attention goes. The tales we tell ourselves and even others have a powerful sway to our memories, to our behaviors, and even our identities. When you find yourself troubled, consider praying. Pray for the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Don't forget your why. Never forget your why. Why do you do what you do? The moment you start accessing this good feeling of your purpose, keep at it. Gradually sustain that positive feeling because it is vital to our resilience. And thirdly, ask yourself, is what I am doing helping or harming me? If the answer is harming me, well, the answer is obvious. Let go of that ego and move on from the me mentality to the we mentality. As we have it over at McCarthy, it's we, not I. A lot of people depend on you, and it would be a disservice to them if you get swallowed up by your misery. My personal journey of resilience is not that of trauma, thank God. But, as Dr. Donald Meachenbaum says, resilience does not come from a rare or extraordinary or special qualities. Resilience develops from everyday magic of ordinary resources. Resilience is not a sign of exceptional strength, but it is fundamental. It is a fundamental feature of normal, everyday coping skills. The magic happens when you realize that at any point in your life, you can actually pivot and shift, just as soon as you know to let it go. Oh, and do you know what else happened? COVID-19 happened. And you guys, I tested positive. It means I'm positively pregnant, and my boy Kobe is going to be a big brother in 5 months. Be safe, everyone.